What's up, YouTube? I got a question, and the question was, what's it going to take to create a situation where we can actually have healthy dialogue between black men and black women? Because right now, we have a situation where when black women talk, they're not speaking to us. They're speaking to each other, or they're speaking to some other audience, to the point where it doesn't matter what that audience has to say or how they feel. They're not the ones that they're not the ones that are going to fix any problems, right? So there's no problem. I mean, there's no point in addressing an issue when you don't need those people to begin with. If you're seeking relationships with black men or you're trying to build something, you need to address those men directly, right? Addressing some larger audience just because they're going to agree with you isn't going to work, right? Hence the whole idea of the men on YouTube trying to have conversations with black women directly. We don't want to have some discussion with America at large because we're not trying to build anything with America at large. But in order for us to have some sort of decent conversation, I think there's three assumptions that the women have to let go. Because to me, they're flawed assumptions, but they've built their whole argument on top of it. So it's like building everything on a weak foundation or a pseudo foundation. First of all, the first assumption, and this assumption has to do with the whole idea of visibility. This idea that when you go out, there's just masses upon masses of available, productive, educated, whatever you want to call it, black women out there, which is not true. Yes, your numbers are more on paper, but in terms of real life, you can't see it. Our numbers are still small overall. We can't have one conversation about how we need more blacks to be educated, this and the third, but then act as if there's this super overabundance of educated, single, professional black women. It doesn't work that way. The only time you really get to see it and feel it is if you're on a college campus. And probably if you're on a HBCU. Right? But outside of that sort of environment, you're not going to feel it. All you're going to look at a paper is see that, oh, there's more black women than black men, but you're not actually going to see it. And like I said before, how many new black women do other black women meet that are brand new in terms of reaching the professional world? Right? You know, you always hear the stories about I have a whole bunch of homegirls and friends who are single professional black women. And my point is, okay, but you knew those women before. How many brand new, once you got into your profession, how many brand new black people in general are you meeting? You can't use people that you knew before. You can't use friends. You can't use family. That actually proves my point that it's hard just to meet brand new educated black people to begin with. If that's the case, I know plenty of educated black dudes that I went to school with or that are in my family, but that doesn't count. Because when I go out on a day-to-day basis, I don't see too many brand new black people to begin with. So our numbers aren't there. Second assumption, and there's no order to this, by the way, but the second assumption is that other races stick with each other because they have the same skin color. So according to a lot of black women, Asian men or Indian men stick with their women because they have the same skin color and their mothers are Asian or Indian. So with black people, black men should never question why they should be with a black woman because she has black skin and our mothers are black as well. So because of that, that is enough, which is BS. Okay, other groups of men, especially minorities that are doing well, mind you, seem to stay within their race, not because of the skin color and all this other stuff, right? I'm sure there are plenty of non-black men who are attracted to black women. I mean, you have hip-hop everywhere. So, to me, it's not some foreign idea to believe that there's a lot of men who are physically attracted to black women. But people stay within their race because of the cultural connection. The cultural connection, that's what keeps an Asian man desiring an Asian woman and vice versa. Yeah, you have groups who are breaking off and they're trying to explore new options, but the vast majority, especially the ones in each group who are productive, are staying within their race. So the very best and the very brightest of Asian men, or in Middle Eastern, or whatever you want to call it, are staying within their race. Why? Because they have a cultural connection. There is no difference. So they can wake up every day and their outlook on the world is the same. But with black men and women, we don't have that. Right? You know, it's like you have this hip-hop culture that influences the majority of black men, and you have this single independent Ebony magazine, BET type of culture that is influencing the black woman, and they work together. But people don't see it. Those sorts of cultures don't promote this whole idea of us working together. The hip-hop culture is telling us, hey, you don't need black women, they're this, that, and the third. And then the whole Ebony, the whole Ebony magazine type movement, Angela Murray movement is saying that, you don't need black men, you need your job, you need your career. Or, if anything, you just need him to, be a wallet or pay child support every now and then. So, of course, we're not going to have the same culture, and that's a big problem. Like I said before, the issue between black women and black men has nothing to do with physical attraction. That has been created, and it's a whole bunch of BS. This whole idea of, black men prefer lighter skin, this, that, and the third, it's got taken out of proportion. Because like I said before, if it was really about our lack of liking for black features and our own skin and all this other bullshit, then there should be a higher cases of single mothers and HIV and other STDs among lighter skinned women or mixed women, right? Black women should have the lowest case, especially those who are pure black or have, they're majority black with certain features, should have the lowest number of STDs and pregnancies and all this other good stuff. But no. So if you're still, if we see that, you're still good enough to sleep with, to me that is the ultimate sign of somebody being attracted to you. But, let me not get off track. But yeah, we see the world differently, so we're not making that cultural connection to the point where it doesn't matter if you are a good productive black man and a productive black woman. It's to the point where it's even affected that group. And I say that from personal experience. I've seen decent black women, but they are so caught up on, this whole black woman engine that it's almost impossible to form any relationship with them, because in their culture, we are the enemies. We are not the heroes. In other cultures, their productive men are their heroes. They know how to differentiate between the villains and the heroes. But when it comes to the black woman engine, we are not. We're the villains, but then they want us to be the heroes, but then they can't tell who's the villain or who's the hero. You know what I mean? It's just one big, nasty, ugly puzzle that you can never put together. And the last thing is this whole idea, and this is probably, I guess there's no order, but this would probably be the number one. The other two I don't really care about, but this is probably the number one. And this number one hurdle or thing that we have to remove is this whole idea that prior to black men making it, black men and black women are having these great productive relationships. And for whatever reason, when black men make it, we reject black women. So it's this whole idea of, we made you, we helped you get to where you needed to be, we supported you, we did all these things, but when you made it, right, or you got to your level of success, you then dissed us. It's this whole waiting to excel type of mentality, where it's just like, we sacrificed for you and we helped you get your business sparked up and we paid for this and we sacrificed here, only for you to make it and then reject us, which is bullshit. When I see a successful black woman, I don't feel like I did anything for her. I didn't put any money up for her. I didn't sacrifice for her. Yes, maybe the men in her immediate family did that, but the women in my immediate family did the same thing for me. So any black woman outside of that should not feel like they had anything to do with my success, because I don't feel like I had anything to do with her success. I made no sacrifices for you, so I don't feel entitled to anything. But you have so many women who have tricked themselves into believing that any successful black man is there because of black women, so they can sit there and feel entitled to what they have done, which is complete BS. Right? There's issues between black men and women before success is there. But this whole idea that, you know, it's all love and we're in one big happy paradise and we somehow got corrupted by our success, so now we hate black women, is complete BS. Prior to the money, prior to success, right, to the point where it was just his dream and his good character, there's been issues. I can talk to any of my younger cousins who are still in high school or just started college, and they'll already tell you, and they're nowhere near money, but they can already tell you that there's problems, there's issues. So in closing, you know, once black women remove those three assumptions, I think that we can start to have a better dialogue. But until we get that done, we can't talk. Because they've built all of their arguments. If you think about it, most of those arguments revolve around the three things that I said. So you guys take it easy. Take care. Merry Christmas.